Welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Build a Legacy. Here we are, back for a third episode. Out of all, I'm the most excited about this one because something really tugged at my heartstrings this week. And with all this coronavirus and this pandemic going on, everybody is just in sheer panic. And I had to do the hardest thing I've ever had to do at my job this week, and that was lay off people. And I was laying off people I had worked with directly, laying off people I was friends with, had a close relationship with. But the most painful part of it all is I was laying off people who I knew were not prepared for a layoff. These are people who, regardless of how much information is given to them or whatever the case is, they just got to a certain point in their life where they just kind of just let it go. There was no plan B. It was this. You get your check at the end of the month, you pay your bill, and you just rinse and repeat every single week. And they really just got stuck in that cycle, and there was no way to release. And I was almost brought to tears because I'm like, I know these people will not be okay. And when it comes to building a legacy, you have to have a backup plan. And I think what we forget is we are in 2020. And you've got bills coming into your house every single week. Coronavirus, no coronavirus, mark it up, mark it down, it doesn't matter. Still got to pay your gas, electricity, rent's got to get paid. Got to keep your internet on so you can tune into this podcast and do business as you regularly do. And the scary part about it is this circumstance, this state of affairs that the globe is in right now really just brings to light the lack of preparation that 95+% of the population has. A lot of us are living that paycheck to paycheck life. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely understand some of us are set up at a disadvantage. And this is specifically what I want to talk about today is really just understanding that wealth and abundance is truly a mindset. Now, this is not to discount or discredit what disadvantages or systems are put in place so some of us are set up in a worse situation than others. But what happens is we never really evaluate our money values. We never take a look and understand. We don't question things as we should. And so what happens is we just take on whatever our parents are telling us, whatever our grandparents are telling us, our friends, our family, our whatever. We just take it on and we never question it and say, well, why is it like this? So if you grow up and somebody in your household tells you money is the root of all evil, rich people are bad, more money, more problems. We've heard all of these things at least one time in our lives. So these are the seeds that are planted into us at a young age, and they grow and they develop, and we get to a certain point in our life where we're literally just repelling wealth and we're repelling information and not even realizing that's not even our fault. Somebody planted a seed way back when, and that seed has just grown up into a tree and is blossoming now. And now I've got a poverty mindset thinking there's not enough wealth to go around. And if you have it in your mind that obtaining money, obtaining wealth, being rich is a bad thing, you will never attract the wealth that you're internally looking for because your beliefs are off. Your beliefs are holding back your actions. And now you can't attract the money and the wealth and the abundance that you deserve because a certain seed was planted in your mind when you didn't have a decision about it. It's very controversial when I say that wealth is a mindset because people will look at me and say, well, I didn't grow up wealthy and I didn't have a handout, or I didn't have this, I didn't have that. This is for me personally. I didn't grow up rich or wealthy. My mom said we grew up on love and peanuts, but we really made it work. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you came from a wealthy family or a not so wealthy family. At the end of the day, I could give you a business idea that costs you $0. I could give you a business idea that's $200 that's going to generate you residual income. And you still won't take it. Why? Because your mindset about money is off. So I could tell you, do steps A, B, and C. Go to this website. Click on this link. Here's the information. And that person who is standing at the top of the mountains screaming about how they're at a disadvantage still will not find success because they'll start it, maybe get through a couple months, a couple steps, and then they'll give up. Not because they can't do it, it's because they don't understand consistency. And they've already made up in their mind that they're not worthy of wealth. And so they self-sabotage themselves into not obtaining the success that they're looking for. And there's this crazy thing in our society where, for whatever reason, we believe that if you haven't slaved away, or your job didn't require you some sort of emotional or physical pain, that you don't deserve your wealth. That rich people are bad. That blanket statement almost discourages people from finding success financially. Because you're worried that somebody's going to look at you and say, oh, she had a handout. Oh, she didn't work for that. Oh, she only made that because she cute. And then you're looking in the mirror thinking, wow, am I even really worthy of this? Or did I just, I got this money too easy and maybe I don't deserve it. I'm not sure where that thought process came from, but it's like a societal understanding that the only way to get wealthy in this world is to work yourself into the ground. And that's not it. Take a look at this. If Rogers or Bell comes to you right now, whoever your cell phone, your internet provider is, they come to you one time. They set up their towers one time. They give you your contract one time. You pay your bill every single month. They set up that system once, and they continue to get paid month after month, year after year, forever. Starbucks, McDonald's, they built one system, and they sold that system hundreds and thousands of times, and now they're sitting back laughing because all the work was done in one chunk of time. People who are investing in storage units and laundromats and all these things where you only have to make the investment one time and you continuously get paid. What does that sound like? I get a bill every single month. I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bills coming into my house, but I've only got one stream of income. Not because the information is not available. The information is there. It's there. Sometimes it's a little tricky to find, but it's there. But even if somebody hands it to you, you have to take a look in the mirror, take a look at yourself and realize, do I truly believe that I'm worthy of the wealth and the abundance that I know in my soul that I deserve? Do I think that I'm worth it? Have the right seeds been planted into my mind? And if it's not, that's not an excuse. Now that you understand that, you can look at it, you can start questioning those things and that information that was fed to you, those things that people told you. But a lot of us, we get to a point and we say, you know what, oh, I'm too old, it's too late, I can't do this, I can't do that. And we self-sabotage ourselves every single day because we believe that we're not worthy. Because society told us making money is bad. But what you really need to understand is money and wealth can only make you more of what you already are. If you're a good person and you really love to give and you get all the money in the world, just think about how much you're going to give. Think about how much information you're going to put out. Think about the high quality of value that you're going to be able to produce just because you've been given the resources. However, if you're bad mind, for those of you who know, you know, and you get some money, then you're going to just find some more ways to take from people. You're going to find more ways to do bad on a higher level just because you've obtained the money that you were looking for. But here's the catch. That quote unquote bad person believed in themselves and believed they were worthy of that money that they received. So even if they're doing negative and they're doing scamming and they're doing all of this stuff, they had believed, they convinced themselves that they were worthy and deserving of that. So they went off ahead and found success. It works, unfortunately. It works for both sides, but it starts with, what are your values and beliefs in yourself? Do you even feel like you're worthy of obtaining wealth and abundance in this world? Something that really caught my eye on social media the other day is by an influencer that I follow. Her name is Dana Chanel. And she said, the rich get richer because the poor think every opportunity is a scam. Now, let's take a look at that. Let's go back to my first example when I said I could give somebody a business idea that costs no money to start and they still will find a way to fail at it. Because something in their mind is telling them this is too simple, therefore it's not going to work. This is too simple, therefore I cannot make money. I cannot make a living doing this. It's too easy. It's not going to be respected. Poor literally stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. It all comes down to the way that we think. And when we're sitting down looking into how do we build a legacy, how do I leave something behind, you first have to take a look into yourself and say, do I truly believe that I'm a person who is worthy of receiving all that I know is out there for me? And if the answer is no, all you could do at that point is start questioning the things that you believe and why you believe it. I was raised to think credit cards are bad. Why? Because my parents had seen credit cards cause pure turmoil in their households. And so they made a decision for themselves. I'm never going to use a credit card ever. But the question that they failed to ask was it the credit card that caused the turmoil, or was it the individual? Or a poverty mindset that caused credit cards to turn into the villain in that scenario? Is credit cards bad for that person, or is it bad for me? I'm not advocating for credit cards. I'm just giving y'all an example here, okay? So what I want to leave you with today is this. Do some soul searching. Think about what your true beliefs are about money. Think about the things that you were taught about what it means to be wealthy or to be rich. Understand that rich and wealthy are two different things, but really just take a deep dive in and connect with yourself and what you believe that means. Because yes, not for a second am I going to discredit and say some of us are not put on this planet at a disadvantage, because that's not for a second true. That's very true. But are we going to decide to stay there, or are we going to decide to grow from there? The problem is we are way too comfortable with making excuses for ourselves to fail. That might sound harsh, but that's exactly what it is. We make it way too okay and say, oh, look at my friend, look at that guy, look at this girl, they're hanging out, I'm doing better than that person. Who cares? We're on a mission to build a legacy. It doesn't matter if you're better than that person. Are you better than the person that you were yesterday? That's all that should ever matter. We get too caught up in comparing ourselves to each other on social media and trying to, compare our lowlights to the highlight reel of everybody else, not realizing that person is just took a little clip of their whole entire day and edited and put a filter on it and all of that. And now you're trying to compare your situation. You're comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 7. And then wondering why you're getting discouraged. And then using that as an excuse not to continue. Because you don't have the skills, you don't have the this, you don't have the that. We need to stop that mentality and start questioning, why do I believe the things that I believe? What seeds were planted in my mind unbeknownst to me? How can I examine these things? How can I change them? And how do I set myself up for success? We need to stop waiting for emergencies and tragedies before we start opening our eyes and looking at this. You got 6, 7, 8 bills coming into your house and you only have one stream of income? How does that make any sense? Are you going to depend on somebody else to make sure that your family is okay? Are you going to depend on somebody else to make sure that a roof stays over your head? I'm talking to myself, talking to you, talking to me. I'm really having a conversation with myself right now, and somebody's going to get very triggered by this, and that's what I'm looking for. Somebody's really going to look at this and take a look at the mirror and say, you know what, that's true. I got to go ahead and make a change. And somebody's going to look at this and say, who does she think she is? I'm okay with either one. My intent is to have us all really just take a look in the mirror, take a look at yourself and say, am I receiving everything in this life that I deserve? And if I'm not, what is the reason why? What are the seeds that were planted in my mind? What have they grown into? Which ones will I accept? Which ones will I change? Which ones will I remove? The building block here is you need to set yourself up for success. You need to understand what your money values are, what your wealth values are, what your own values are in yourself. Do you even believe that you're worthy of leaving a legacy? And if you're not, that's okay. We got some work to do together. In the meantime, if this is helping anybody, again, I said I'm talking to myself in this, and I know it. If this is helping anybody, send this to somebody, subscribe, like, whatever you feel like doing. If this helped you, let me know so I can know going forward what else we need to work on together in order to make this work. again, I just want to say it one more time. Take a look in the mirror and understand that you're worth so much more than whatever societal or generational beliefs that you've taken on for yourself. Set yourself up for success. Do not wait for a tragedy or a pandemic before you take a look at your bank account, before you take a look at your mindset and take inventory and find out if you are in the place that you should be, and if you're not, what are the roadblocks, and find out exactly how do we remove them, because they don't belong there. That's all I've got for this episode, y'all. I know it was a little fiery, but I'm telling you, I'm fired up, and it's because this is really important to me. I see it too many times that people shortchange themselves, and we got to stop that. So let's build a legacy, y'all. Until next time.